Shalom, Shema, coming at you with another one, giving all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash, devil honor to the elder apostle, great male, son who rule and teach well, even unto this day. Shalom to you, brothers. This was a few sisters who might be tuning in, listening, and learning. And in this lesson, we're going to be going into how even our women will be changed into righteousness. Because right now we in the lowest state as a nation, as a people. And if you want to see what state a nation is in, just take a look at the state that their woman is in, and you will see just how just what level of stability that nation has, just based off of the stability of the women, and right now our women, specifically the nation of Israel, are not stable, because they have been gifted with the delicacies and the deceits and the wine of Babylon from Esau Edom, the serpent, and so but even that is for a temporary time. It's vexing at the moment, you know what I mean. But we understand that even that's temporary, and our women, they're not gonna be the same in the kingdom, you see, because in the ancient, starting off in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 26, verse 10, because this is how our women was held in the ancient time. Everything was back in, everything was in order when men of the Lord were, when the prophets were actually feared, these type of things, these laws that the Lord had given when they were being established, in righteousness. They set things in order, but now every single law that the Lord has given has been trampled upon and turned upside down by this damn devil. This book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 26, and verse 10, it says, "If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through over much liberty." Right, because our daughters, the daughters of the nation of Israel, they have been given too much liberty, and so much that they were given more liberty than the men of the nation of Israel, to destroy the men of the nation of Israel, to keep the men of the nation of Israel in the lowest state. You see, and so that not only destroys the men, but it destroys the women as well. Because when you give a woman too much liberty, even over, because the scriptures say, "I will make I will create a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man." Esau has, created and developed a system where the women rule over the men. The women, you get more women having more higher paying jobs than you get, the men of our nation having high paying jobs. You get, all these different types of imbalances in our nation dealing with our women being set over us, and that's a curse, man. That's a curse. You see, it says, "If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty." And it might not even be just the liberty to get abroad and as far as finances, drugs is out on the street, different abominable foods, like all of these things, like. That's why the Lord established these different laws, because it applies to all aspects of life. The children, the women, the way you're supposed to walk. Everything was turned upside down, man. So now you got, women strong got on, heavy, drugs, can't even think straight. Because that's because, these things that the Lord told us to do are not being done, But this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 10. It says, actually 12. It says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors." Right. It says, "And women rule over them." You see, the Lord's people, women rule over the Lord's people currently, man. Even the women of our own nation. You see, I ain't making no, I ain't, majority of Israelite men, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, um, majority of these men, when you look at the percentage of the money that's being put in by these men, you got women, these other nations like Edomite women and even our own women, and all of the men of the other nations, that can making way more money than these nations, man. You know, it says, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. Right? You see, so our paths are destroyed, because of our oppressors, always casting stumbling blocks before us, man. But keeping the topic on the women, um, this is the book of Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. It says, moreover, the Lord Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, right? Our women are haughty, man. They fell for the lust of the serpent. They fell for the desire of the serpent and all his sweet words unto their ears, man. Therefore they committed adultery against, us and the Heavenly Father, man. They'd rather, dwell with the men of the other nations. They say, oh, this nigga ain't shit. So who is shit? Who is the shit? You see, if the men of our nation ain't shit, then who is the shit? Esau, Edom, Moab, the Canaanites. These are all the men who are set on high esteem in this kingdom, man. And the men of our nation, put on a back burner, and embarrassed, and our value as the Lord's people is put in the trash, man. It says, moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown, because of the woman's crown is her hair. You see, that's why these women be liking all the long hair and stuff, because that's their crown. Is their beauty. It says, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. And in that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their caws and their round tires like the moon. The chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands, all these things that you see, these Jake women wearing today. You know what I mean? The scriptures talk about how the goods were cheap, paraphrasing. The goods were so good, cheap upon the earth, paraphrasing. So you got all these women, they pulling in decent money from all of the Jakes, lusting after them on Instagram, and providing them with more money, because they like them and all this stuff, when in all actuality they're pretty much nothing more than just harlots. It says the bonnets and ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earring, the rings, the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Right? So the Lord is going to curse the one thing that our women are supposed to have on high esteem, which is their beauty. You see? It says, "Thy men shall fall by the sword, and the mighty in the war." And the scriptures say that the beauty of the women shall be changed. So our women fell for the deceit of the serpent. The deceit and adultery of the serpent, and now they have a new beauty. Their beauty is not based on, being virtuous towards their husband. And their beauty is not based on, love, loving, their children. It's based upon, you know what I mean, you know, the pride of the serpent. You see, it says, "Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in war, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground." Right, It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 56. It says, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground." Right? Hey, our women used to be tender and delicate, man. Now you got women out here butt naked going to the gym, damn near look butt naked. You got women out here climbing mountains and doing all this crazy ass shit. When our women used to be delicate, they would not venture to set the sole of their foot upon the ground, like the scriptures say. They used to be in the house, taking care of the children, making sure, everything was cleaned or whatever. Making sure the concubines was in order. You get what I'm saying? Like all these things that that build a house. All these attributes of the women that's supposed to build a house. In most cases, it go out the window and to destroy the house of Jacob, man. It says to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, man. Her eyes shall be evil against the husband of her bosom, man. You see, did not this come to pass? Is not majority of our women a headache to deal with? You see, and I'm not just butchering all the women, and this lesson is going to be how our woman is going to be changed, but that the scripture talk about how Israel is going to be changed through purification. So these, not only the women, but the men of our nation need to be purified. That's the spirit is 144, call out Yabashim out Shah. Needs to be purified, to be able to build in a kingdom, build a new kingdom, man. Be righteous again. Be holy again. Because right now we're not holy. We're not separated. We're not righteous. It says, will not adventure to set her soul foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eyes shall be right, because the women used to be tender and delicate. The men used to be the mighty, to war. Now you got women and going, and being, going inside of Esau's military. That's completely fucking out of order. What type of logic does that make, man? Sending a woman out to war. Does that make any sense? But these women, and these men, they will listen to any, thing that this devil tells them, man. Or shows that it is so-called good. It says, foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. Right? So these is all curses that the Lord put upon our nation, but, pretty soon it's going to be flipped upon the other nations. This book of 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15, notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith. All right? Slack it. I don't know what. Oh, okay. That's cool. Slack it. It says, notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety, right? Because these women are not sober. They drunk off the wine of Babylon, so but they're gonna be saved through childbearing. You see? They're gonna be saved through childbearing if they continue on the things that's pleasant unto Yahweh Shemiah Shah, which the thing that's pleasant unto Yahweh Shemiah Shah to our women is pleasing, the men. That's the order. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 on your own time. Right. So the women we is gonna have certain women that's gonna be saved. Matter of fact, it'll be more because the scriptures say that 7 women shall take hold of one man. So more women, you gonna have more women and children being saved than the actual elect. When you do the math. But this is book of Psalms chapter 128 and verse 3 says that thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine by the sides of thine house, right? Hey, our woman is gonna be established again, man. It says thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine by the sides of thy house, man. They're gonna be fruitful again. You see, because now our women is nothing more than a poison of our enemies, man. Our enemies use our women against us, man. That's wicked as fuck, man. That's fucked up, but it's just part of the curses. It says thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine by the sides of thine house, thy children like olive plants around about thy table, man. Because our women, they gonna be as a fruitful vine, man. And fruits is gonna grow. You see how beautiful Yahweh Shemiah Shah is, though. With his poetry, the Lord is an ultimate artist. It says, "Thy wife shall be as a fruitful vine by the sides of thine house, thy children like olive plants round about thy table." So our women is gonna be fruitful again. They gonna be saved in childbearing. Olives is gonna grow from their vines, man. Little children, women, and young men, young kings is gonna grow out of the loins of the upcoming gods of the earth, 144,000 elect and the nation of Israel, and they gonna spring forth out of that they gonna come out of the women of our nation, man. You see, it says this book of Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 10. It says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is more than rubies, man." So our woman is gonna go back to being priceless again, man. Our woman is gonna go back to being virtuous again, man. Which the Lord bless. The Lord got certain sisters out here, who have the spirit. It says the heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that she shall have that he shall have no need of spoil, man. See, everything in the kingdom, everything is gonna go back to normal. Everything is gonna go back to righteousness, man. And everything is gonna fall into place. It says she would do him good and not evil all the days of her life, man. And she not gonna be able to do evil, because shit, we all gonna be changed, man. And shit, we gonna have them powers. Brothers will be able to control minds, control her mind. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be no way for her to do evil, because right now the women, she more vulnerable to wickedness, being in this kingdom where she is put on a pedestal. She has more of a reason to do wickedness. She is more, for lack of better words, she is more convenient for her to do wickedness, because Esau is allowing her to rise up over the men. You see, this book of Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 26. It says, "A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit." Right? Well, yeah, man. Our women, even our women is gonna receive a new spirit, because right now everything is based upon the spirit of what? Babylon and these other wicked nations, man. Everything is based upon the spirit of unrighteousness, man. I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna close out with that one, but I got two more. This book, First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 14. It says, "And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression." Right, because the woman was deceived by the serpent. You see, this book of First Timothy chapter 5. Bear with me for 1 second. In verse 24, and it says, "Some is." Let me see. This is the book of First Timothy chapter 5 and verse 2. It says, "The elder woman as mothers and the younger woman as sisters with all purity." It's like it. First. I'm going to go to verse 9. "Let not the widow be taken unto the number under 60 years old, having been a wife of one man." These are all laws that the Lord set forth so that our nation can dwell in righteousness. It says, "Well reported of for good works, if she have brought up children, if she have lodged strangers, if she have washed the saints' feet, if she have relieved the afflicted, if she have diligently followed every good work." But the younger woman, it's like the younger widows, refuse. For when they have begun to wax wanton against Yahushua, they will marry. Right, so now these women refuse Yahushua, man. As soon as they, just like Esau, man, as soon as they be born speaking lies, man. Well, as soon as these women, grow to be young women, they pretty much drink the wine of Babylon and enjoy their wicked seat, their wicked part in Esau's wicked ass kingdom, man. Turning against Yahushua. You see, it says, but the younger widows refuse, for when they have begun to wax wanton against Yahushua, they will marry, having damnation because they have cast off their first faith. Right, because and they're gonna have that the women of this generation, they have that damnation in them, because before they even can grasp the concept of Yahushua, they go and commit adultery with Esau. And that's shit. That's how our men is as well. We all born into a curse, man. We just waiting on Yahushua to come and set everything all right, man. Because ultimately, this is the Lord's story. These women, they gonna be righteous again. You see. Water. This is the book of 2 John chapter 1 and verse 1, and it says it's like it says, "The elder unto the elder unto the elect lady and her children, whom I love in the truth, and not I only, but also all they that have known the truth, for the truth's sake, which dwelleth in us, and shall be with us forever. Grace be unto you, mercy and peace from Yahweh Shah the Father, and the Lord, Yahweh the Father, and from the Lord Yahushua, the Son of the Father, in truth and love. I rejoice greatly that I found of thy children walking in truth, as we have received a commandment from the Father. And now I beseech thee, lady, not as though I wrote a new commandment unto thee, but that which we have formed from the beginning, that we love one another. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye should walk in it." Right, because the scriptures say, and water for this precept, and the scriptures say, will tell you what the whole duty of man is. So the Lord had given his commandments for everybody, for children, for children, for women, for men. You see, so every being has a duty and a part on the earth, man, and those parts are getting ready to be establishing righteousness again, man. Because right now they wicked. You know, everything is out of order. You see. But once again, our women is gonna be changed though, man. You know, that's the point of the lesson. It's like it. You know, if I might be all over the place, but this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and verse 26. It says, "A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you, and I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh." Right? You know, so we gonna the Lord is gonna, you know, take away that hard head, man. You know, He gonna take away that hard head from not only our women, but from the men. You know, because really, the Lord had chosen men. His tabernacle was with men, so He dealt with the women, but under the man. You see, so the Lord is gonna take that hard head, that stony heart, from the men, and from the women, and from the children, man. And He gonna give us a heart of flesh. He gonna give us those immortal bodies, man.